I've chosen this wine as my first wine today because it's a sort of off-dry, almost medium, a German Riesling, which I think are sort of undervalued these days. It's somehow considered unsophisticated to have a wine, white wine that's other than bone dry. But with the right food combination, these wines can be really gorgeous. The second wine is a bit of a novelty in that I haven't drunk a Zweigelt rosé before, but they're quite a spicy wine, and I'm interested to try that, how it goes, especially with the food, which we'll be trying with it later on. Pinotage is a bit of a Marmite wine because some people really dislike that, and I used to dislike Pinotage, but in fact, more recently, there's been some really elegant examples of Pinotage, and as it says in the back label here, it's beautiful, smooth, soft fruit. Can go very well with spicy foods, and I have drunk this wine at a tasting and very much enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to having this with food. Yeah, tasting the wines, I was very pleased indeed. The Riesling had a piercing acidity, but it had a lovely honeyed background and texture, so it made it a very balanced wine. Although it's only 8% ABV, it was a really lovely wine. The Zweigelt Rosé had a pale salmon color. Again, very fresh acidity, sort of white and red currant type flavors. And there was a little bit of a sort of honeyed sweetness in the background, and it was a lovely texture. Now, a quick Pinotage potted history. Now, this is the event from the Wine Society, Friday takeaway on Thai cooking that's prompted this episode. So here's the details of that event and their suggested wine and food pairings. Here are the Thai meals that I chose: king prawns and fish cakes from M&S and two curries from Charlie Bingham's from Waitrose. Now, the format of these takeaway events is that you log into the Zoom connection, and Catherine from the Wine Society introduces the event, talks about the dishes and the wines which they recommend, and a little bit of history, perhaps, of Thai cookery and such like. And meanwhile, the chat line is alive with everyone that's logged in, explaining what they're eating, what they're drinking, where they are. And a slightly bizarre event, but it's great fun, and I've attended quite a few of these. Now, to complete the weekend of funky food, on the following night we had a delivery of one of the dishes from Dishpatch, which we've used quite a few times, where you get a selection of dishes that come through delivered by in the post, and you finish them off. And I show details of this here. Right, quick word about the food. The Thai meals we thought were really great. The Charlie Bigham, which we haven't used before, in fact, they were extremely good. Um, and the Dispatch was one of the best ones we've had from Dispatch. Really was great meals, and it's quite healthy portions there. So what we find is one of their meals lasts us for about a meal and a half because we have a bit left over for the following night. With regard to the wines, very pleased. I think the medium Riesling went really well with the Thai cookery and with the other dishes. So I think any sort of spicy sort of foods, a sort of medium Riesling can be really great. The Pinotage was also good. It has such warm, ripe fruit, and particularly people that are a bit more inclined towards red wine than white. That was a great match, I thought, for the Thai cookery and the other dishes. The rosé was absolutely fine because it had less of a sort of sweeter touch, it's a little bit more sort of refreshing. It didn't clash with anything, and I think for the dispatch thing, that was a nice addition to the other flavors. So overall, it was lovely food, lovely wines, and really enjoyed it. A few closing remarks about Pinotage. I feel a bit guilty about as I've rubbished the grape for many years. I show a number of wines here which you can buy in various supermarkets, and it shows quite the difference between the 11% lower alcohol versions, which tend to be remarkably inexpensive, and the sort of stronger, say 13.5, 14% versions, which are cost quite a bit more. I've tried the Asda, a nice drop of Pinotage, which is incredibly inexpensive, and to me that had the essence of Pinotage there, obviously in a fairly lightweight way. So that's a good one to try if you want to sort of tip your toe into the Pinotage grape. The comments on the Asda site further reflect the fact that it's a Marmite grape. Some love it, some hate it, but there you go. Well, that's all from us for this episode. See you next time. Keep swirling, stay curious. Cheers.